Hi, I'm Deb James, the Wellness RN for you. And it's been a while since I've been here, but I've had to work on some things for me. I had to practice self care, and I had some other things that I needed to handle. So I'm back. Anyway, what I want you all to know is that I am changing my focus a little bit. Well, maybe not a little bit, maybe a lot, but I'm shifting away from other aspects of my holistic nursing consulting, and I am focusing on dementia care, specifically practical guide to dementia care. I've been focused on it for some time. It really, truly is my passion. Having dealt with my parents, my father who passed last year, and helping him actually take care of his mother when she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. I have a lot of experience. I had to do a lot of learning quickly. And so I know the clinical side of things, I know the emotional side of things, and I know the practical side of things. There are things that have to be done. And some of them are very time constrained. Time constraint. They have a short time span. So as I'm transitioning to focusing on dementia care, I will be updating my YouTube channel, tweaking it a little bit, Wellness for All. And I'll also be tweaking my website, angelic-touch-health-and-wellness.net. And I will be moving forward with this because it's something that I feel is greatly needed, and it's also something that I feel led to do. But what I want you to know with this video is that a dementia diagnosis is not a depressing, crestfallen, mind-boggling diagnosis. Yes, there will need to be changes. You'll need to adjust things. But what I want you to realize is that your loved one is still there. They may not have the same memory that they had before, but in their heart, they're still there. And they want to be connected to you. And I'm sure you want to be connected with them. As I said, I will be going through various aspects of dementia care from a practical standpoint in the next videos. But you need to understand that while dementia diagnosis does have a definitive end, you're hopefully at the beginning of it so that you can make the adjustments that you need to make. With my grandmother, probably for the last 5 years of her life, she didn't know who I was. Initially I was like kind of ticked, but then I thought, you know what? She likes me. She lets me come visit. She's not throwing things at me, swearing at me, or trying to stab me with a fork. That's another story, but that's another story. But she liked me. She enjoyed me visiting. She enjoyed talking to me. And so that kept our relationship going. And it was wonderful. And even when it got to the point where she couldn't really communicate, it was still wonderful just to sit there and be with her. and sometimes just sing or hum, especially old gospel songs, things out of the hymnal. And it was just, even now I smile about it because it was beautiful. It was beautiful to have that opportunity. With my father, it was a bit different because I was so far away. My parents my parents lived in California. My mother still does. Um, so it was a little bit more challenging. But when something would come up and he wouldn't listen to my mother or my brother, they would call me and I would talk to him. And I would talk to him in a way that he knew I was being honest with him. I didn't have a different agenda, and I was not trying to have him do or not do something that would be detrimental to him. Early on, one day we were talking, just the two of us, when I had gone out to visit, and he literally cried, asking me to not put him in a hospital or not put him in a home. And that hurt. That really hurt. But I told him, I said, okay, we'll do whatever we can to keep you home. And we were able to do that. With my mother, she's now in assisted living. Her dementia is not as advanced as my father's. But with COVID, we've noticed that she's not quite where she was when she first went into assisted living. And that's because the socialization is just not there, because everyone is having meals in their rooms. They're not allowed to gather in groups. And most of the residents are, quite frankly, more comfortable staying in their apartments than getting out and seeing people. She has one friend across the hall that comes and visits. But she's been scolded because they haven't always been social distancing. So, but anyway, but we noticed that some memory issues were worse. And so what we did was we got her a grand pad, which is a pad that is it's connected through consumer cellular, and it's basically a dedicated private video chat. And so anyone who has access to her account can access it and talk with her, or we can talk with each other. The downside is that you can only have one conversation going at a time, unfortunately. But my brother has called me on the grand pad, and I've talked to my nephew on the grand pad. So it's something that it gives you that visual, because this is what people miss. If they're not seeing enough of this, they tend to get more anxious. They tend to feel that they're being forgotten. And that's definitely something you don't want to have happen. And I realized with COVID, it's more challenging to keep connected with that loved one. But however you can, connect with them. If you can go through pictures, that's a good way to connect. We had my mother do that actually after my father passed away. And it was very beneficial because, one, it gave her something to do rather than focusing 100% on her grief. But it also allowed for stories. You learn about people in your family. And that was the thing I loved about talking with my grandmother, because my grandmother would would tell me stuff that she would never tell anybody else. And I found out some of my cousins, it was the same way. She told them things that she didn't tell anyone else. So it's like, we've had these conversations where you kind of put everything together and then you get the whole picture, which is nice. But that's something that's beautiful to do. If you can find a way to play a game with them online, that's even better. Something like, Words with Friends or Scrabble, whatever. If they're able to do that, that's a wonderful thing. But the main thing is you just want to make sure that your loved one knows that you are there. They're not forgotten. And I really want you to take this to heart. Your loved one is still in there. The person that they are basically is still there. The person that you related to is still there. And the best thing that you can do for both of you is to maintain that relationship as much as possible, because that's what's going to help you later on as the disease progresses. You find interesting ways to kind of get that loved one to understand what you're trying to convey. And it may come from storytelling. It may come from referencing another family member. It may be giving them an example of something that they told you about or something that you told them about. The short-term memory is bad, but the long-term memory is there. And the more you can build on those long-term memories, the better. And it allows you to stay positive. I'm not saying that things are going to, excuse me, miraculously change. That's not going to happen, although it could, but not likely. But you want to keep that connection. You want to be able to tune into them more deeply than maybe you have in the past or in the present. Because those are the types of connections that will help you figure out how to do what needs to be done. So I'm going to be tweaking my YouTube channel, Wellness for All, to focus a little more on that. I also will be tweaking my website, www.angelichtouchhealthandwellness.net, and I'll be tweaking that to be more geared toward dementia care. And again, I have practical experience. So there were a lot of things that I wish I had known beforehand, but I didn't. But we managed to get through it, and that's the information I want to convey to you all. So I will be putting out a 6-week course, probably early 2021, but I'll keep you posted about it. And if you're interested, like the video, like this video, comment on it. If you want to have a free 30-minute session with me just to kind of figure out where you're at and what types of things you're concerned about, give me a call. 443-203-9303. So please, be well, be peaceful, be hopeful, and be good to yourself. Okay? I'll see you next time. Bye.